Hey everybody! So tonight is a rare night off. We got rained out of our rehearsal. My hair is very wet from the rain. Been a lot of rain. Usually we soldier on, but there was a chance of lightning, so here I am doing one of these things again. So today I wanted to come to you with a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, which is that musical theater kids must be stopped at all cost. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think that for me, one thing I've been confronted with a lot lately is that I think one thing that really interests me in performance is the idea of truth, like finding the honesty of the character or the honesty of what you're saying, right? And I think too often what I see is a lot of musical theater is about precision in singing, which is great, but there's no emotional nuance or depth with how a lot of musical theater kids approach their roles. And this might be something I get a lot of hate on, I might get a few dislikes on it, but that's okay. I just gotta speak my truth on this. I feel like, again, it's just so about, we gotta get our harmonies right. We have to be pitch perfect. But there's no emotional resonance in the voice or the characterization. And I guess the reason I was thinking about this is that I feel like a big moment for me was when I was in high school. Les Miserables 2012 came out, and I fell in love with that movie. And I rewatched it the other night, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I adore this. I love everything about this. The casting to me is perfect. The songs to me sound great. The visuals, how everything was staged, for lack of a better word, right? Because obviously it's a movie, so they're able to do a lot more than you would be able to do staging it, right? Like, the whole thing of like Valjean taking Marius through the sewers to rescue him. Like, that was something that you probably aren't really going to be able to portray in an interesting way and change scene on stage. So I loved it. I thought, like, it's a really great thing. I'm not saying I necessarily would enjoy it more than a live performance of Les Mis. In fact, I have seen Les Mis live at least once, maybe a couple times, and I did enjoy the actual seeing it live more, right? That's the theater kid in me. But I feel like, as much as I love that in high school, it started a little bit then, but definitely by the time I got to college, it was almost like a running joke, like 2014, 2015. Like, oh, it's so bad. The singing is terrible. Particularly Russell Crowe catches a lot of flack. It's not a dissimilar thing to what happened at the Olivier Awards a couple of years back. There was a performance of Cabaret done, and the artistic decision was made to sing that song and portray that character with like a lot of truth, to really sing the song like how you would be singing it in a very heartbroken sort of end of the show kind of way, right? So they actively chose not to sing the right notes at times, to actively crack the voice, and a lot of musical theater kids hated it. They were like, oh, this is awful, this is terrible. I think it's one of the very best performances I've ever seen. Because to me, again, what interests me in performance is finding the honesty of it, finding like what feels real, sort of making that fourth wall really, really thin, right? It's to make it almost like immersive in some ways, because it just feels so authentic. And I kind of couldn't help but feel that way when I rewatched Les Mis, because, say what you will about Russell Crowe singing, I think he's the perfect Javert. And I don't think his voice is so horrible that distracts me from the show. I don't think he's the most talented performer in that cast, necessarily, but I love him in that role. I feel like he really nailed the characterization of someone so obsessed with being lawfully good, is the term, that he kind of loses sight of like what is actually good, right? So to the law, right? And that's like the point of that character, is his obsession with justice clouds him from doing what is actually right. That's why he hunts Valjean for the whole musical, which spans like decades, right? Because he just has this chip on his shoulder, this very rigid idea of like what justice means. And so I love Russell Crowe in Les Mis 2012. Some other performances or notes have been made just that they think in general a lot of the music in that movie is really bad. I don't see it. Now, to the musical theater kids' credit, you are way more qualified to comment on the ability of someone to sing, I suppose, in a proficient way more than me. But the thing to me about musical theater, it's not a choir performance, right? It's not like a concert. We are still doing a show that has a story. And I just feel quite strongly, sometimes we're paying way too much attention when we're doing these musicals to how do I sing these notes correctly, as opposed to how do I portray this character truthfully. And I suppose that's the balancing act, you know? And I guess there's like a snobbiness, rather, that comes with caring so much about the proficiency of singing that I think sometimes we just kind of lose focus of like what else is important in a story. And so I really just want to come on today to rant about that, say I love Les Mis 2012. I loved that cabaret performance I cited. I love any time I see a musical, because I do genuinely love musicals. But, you know, obviously as well, this is backtracking a little bit. The great thing would be to sing really proficiently and do the character correctly, right? Like, that would be best. But I'm just saying, I feel like too often I go to see a musical that balance is just not there. It's just so jaded toward singing proficiently that the acting just is non-existent. And yeah, that's why I say musical theater kids need to be stopped. Save yourselves, lads. Save yourselves. Seriously. Loosen up a little bit. Enjoy. Well, that's what I'll have for y'all today. See ya.